Hello my friends, welcome back to Keto in the Chaos. My name is Tammy, and on this channel I like to share all my tips and tricks on how I lost 200 pounds without bariatric surgery and how you can be successful on your own weight loss journey. So if that's what you're looking for, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for more videos like this one to inspire you. To get started. My top 3 tips. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I am excited to be updating my electrolytes video. I have many on my channel, and today I am talking about how to do electrolytes properly when you're eating a ketogenic diet and why it's super important. So I hope that you guys will sit back and relax, maybe get yourself a drink to sip on while we are chatting, because we are talking about all things electrolytes. Before I get started, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Perfect Keto. They are one of my favorite companies to buy keto products from. They have everything ranging from protein powders, collagen, all the way to supplements and electrolytes, which is what we are going to be talking about in this video. And later on in this video, I'm going to show you a great product that they have that can help build and boost your electrolytes and make them a little bit more flavorful and fun. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. If you are going on a ketogenic diet, you are going to need to supplement sodium, magnesium, and potassium. And I know that you are going to fight me on this. So I want you to look me into the eyes, and I want you to tell yourself that you're going to be very open-minded, and that you're going to listen to me, and that you're going to be willing to try this and not just knock it. Okay? Because it's very important. Whenever I am teaching somebody, especially somebody new who's never done a keto diet before, this is like the #1 lesson that I teach. In fact, here on my channel, I have a beginner's playlist where this video, I believe, is number 2. Something like that. I think it's number 2 on my list because it is probably the single most important thing aside from being ketogenic and having a calorie deficit to being able to be successful on a ketogenic way of eating. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about why it's important. Then we're going to talk about how much you need. And then we're going to talk about ways that you can accomplish getting those things into your diet. First things first, why is it necessary? What the heck happens on keto that makes keto so special that you have to drink salt? I mean, it sounds kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but what really happens is when you're eating ketogenically, your body secretes less insulin because you are eating less often, most likely, and you aren't stimulating your blood sugar as much. Also, you are burning off all of the glycogen that your muscles are storing, and your muscles no longer need to keep water in the muscle areas or things like that to keep the glycogen in it. So what happens is when you lower your carbohydrate intake drastically, it'll take a few days for your body to burn off the glycogen that was already stored in your body and your liver, and then move into creating ketones with either dietary fat or body fat or both, most likely both, in order to have fuel to burn. Our bodies are amazing creatures that we can just stop eating a complete food group and our bodies will completely do a different scientific process in our body in order to make a new energy source. It's pretty great. So that's the one benefit of keto, is that you will burn fat more fluidly. You'll go straight from dietary fat to body fat, back to dietary fat to body fat, ideally if you're not consuming more than about 20 net carbs a day. So that's the idea with staying in ketosis. It is not vital to be in ketosis to lose weight. So before we get all crazy, let me remind you that it's always calorie deficit that helps you lose weight. Has nothing to do with ketosis. But there are some benefits of ketosis, which we have talked about in previous videos, that do help you have less hunger, be able to go longer without food, and feel more stable so that you can endure that calorie deficit long enough to make a big enough difference, which is what makes keto so great. But the one mistake that everybody makes on a ketogenic diet, and I do mean everybody, is they do not consume enough electrolytes, or they think that the small amount they're consuming is going to be sufficient for a long amount of time. And that's just simply not true. So when I'm coaching people, I always stress getting the electrolytes in right away, because immediately upon entering ketosis, which takes, like I said, about 2 or 3 days, it depends on how much stored glycogen you have in your body, you will begin to dump off all of the water that was used to store glycogen right out your body and right out your kidneys, and bye-bye all your electrolytes. And that is the reason that you need to supplement them. You should supplement them before this happens. That way you have backup and you're already kind of used to taking them before everything tanks and you came up against a wall and you call me and say that you're dying. That has happened to me by multiple times. It does not matter how much time I stress taking the sodium and taking the magnesium and taking the potassium. People never believe me. They always think that's not going to be that big of a deal. And then they always slam into the Electrolytes wall, bam, and they feel like they're dying. Even I've done this. I did it yesterday. Let's be real. We don't always do things the way we're supposed to do them. And we don't always recognize when we've messed up. So here are some symptoms of keto flu so that you can help recognize when you have hit that wall. Well, if you hit the wall, you'll know. But when you're getting close to hitting the wall, you need to pay attention to the minute changes that might be happening in your body that will indicate that your electrolytes are starting to tank. Number 1, lightheadedness, dizziness. If you wake up and you just kind of feel not right and you just kind of feel dizzy and just kind of like, I don't feel so great, it's a very good chance that your electrolytes are low, probably getting abysmally low. Along with lightheadedness, you might also feel headachy. You might also feel nauseated. Yes. So those 3 things are like the telltale signs that things are kind of going in that general direction. You're going to start to feel lethargic and tired. One of the benefits of taking your electrolytes on a ketogenic diet is that even with a very low calorie number, you can still have a lot of energy if you keep your electrolytes up. Whereas normally when you're dieting and you're on carbs and you're just eating very minimal, you probably should be supplementing electrolytes still, because you're probably burning off all of those carbs you're eating and not storing them, and thus having a similar situation and feeling low energy. So if your energy is really, really low, definitely electrolytes could be at play. Now, if you've let that continue on and you've ignored it, hunger. Hunger is another one. If you're feeling hungry lots of times, it's because your sodium is low. And even if it isn't, sometimes if you just take a little sodium, the hunger feeling will go away because your body is satisfied with that. Shockingly, but it is true. It is really true. So definitely when you're on a ketogenic diet, when you're on a calorie deficit, that can be something that can really help you out. So keep that in mind. If you've waited too long and your electrolytes have tanked, you are going to be feeling muscle cramping, sometimes chest pain. The weird one I get is right through here where I just feel like I'm having a heart attack, like someone's sitting on me, panic attack feeling, anxiety, a high level of just irritated. Those are symptoms that you are hitting the electrolyte wall, and if you don't stop it in time, you're literally going to smack into it till you literally feel like dying, like you are going to die. So you don't want that to happen. In order to avoid all of that, before you start a ketogenic diet, make your plan on how you're going to get your electrolytes. And that's what this video is about. So next segment is how much do we need? Okay, the number 1 most important electrolyte is sodium. Sodium's like the master control of electrolytes. It kind of keeps things in balance for you. And people are afraid of sodium, especially people like me who've been told that with my lymphatic issues and my lipedema, I should be eating low sodium. It's not going to work for me. It's just not going to work for me. Sodium is king when it comes to keto. And don't you be fooled thinking you can just salt your food to taste or put a 1/4 teaspoon of pink salt in your drink once a day and that's going to be sufficient. Newsflash, it's not enough. It's not even close to being enough. So the amount of salt that you really need if you're going to take regular pink Himalayan salt is 12.5 grams of actual salt. Imagine yourself eating a big spoonful, 12.5 grams of salt. Yeah, I don't think that's going to go down very well, if you see what I'm saying. So you can take it by eating a pinch at a time. When I first started, I used to use Redmond's salt, and I used to put it in a baggie, the amount that I needed for the day, and just throughout the day, I would just pinch it and eat it, pinch it and eat it. And I'd sometimes be licking it out of my hand. I remember this one time I was standing by watching my kids in the dance studio with a friend. We were watching through the window, and I had some salt in my hand because I was feeling peckish, hungry, tired, keto flu-ish, right? And I knew I had my sodium with me, so I was eating up my salt. And she looks over at me and she goes, "Why are you eating that?" And I'm like, "Well, because I'm going to lose weight. This is part of my diet. I need to." She's like, "You're eating salt? How are you going to lose weight?" And I said, "Because I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 9 months." This is when I was really big, right? And she just looked at me and she just kind of looked at me and I said, "Well, which one of us do you think is going to lose the 100 pounds in 9 months?" She was currently eating ice cream. Me eating the salt or you eating the ice cream? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was just a funny story about how I used to eat my sodium. But I found a better way, and I have another video on how to make the Sole water. So I'm going to link that in the About section below. It's a dorky video, but I just can't bear the thought of making another. I still use that exact same jar. I make a new batch pretty much every day, and I just take it and I refill it with more water. I don't dump it out or anything, and I just add more salt to it, just a handful of salt every single day, and that is where my Sole water comes from. So basically it is saturated sodium water. Like if you go to chemistry, they can teach you how there's only so much sodium that a droplet of water or a gram of water or a milliliter of water can absorb. And so because of that, if you soak salt in water until it is fully absorbed, the water that floats on top has a measurable amount of sodium. And that is the key factor here. A lot of people tell you that you can drink pickle juice and things like that to get your sodium. I don't recommend that because there's no way for you to know how much sodium is in pickle juice. Each brand is probably going to use a different amount, and they do not list the sodium in the pickle juice, unless of course you're buying a pickle juice, which they do have and do sell and do have it listed. Unless you're buying a solid pickle juice product, you're not going to get the sodium level of that product. So while it may make you feel better, it's not great for the long run because you need to be able to track your sodium and know you're getting the right amount a day. So in 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters or grams, if you want to weigh it on a scale, of Sole water, which is the clear water on top after the water and salt separates, is about 1434 milligrams of sodium. So if I need to take, here comes the number, a minimum of 5,000 milligrams of supplemental sodium a day, I know I need to take about 4.5 tablespoons of Sole water a day minimum. Okay, that's on top of what you do to salt your food. That's on top of if you drink a broth. That's on top of whatever else it's on top. And the reason it's on top of your food is because you want to guarantee, number 1%, 1,000% that you got the amount that you needed. Because most people don't realize you need 5,000 milligrams of sodium even if you're not eating keto. The difference is that a lot of packaged foods and things like that, when you're eating a regular standard American diet, has sodium in it, and you're eating way more than that. People don't even realize how much sodium they eat. Here, when you're on a ketogenic diet and you tend to eat meat and vegetables and cheese, the sodium levels of those are very low. So unless you're dumping salt until you can't stand the taste of food, you're not really getting a lot of sodium in your actual food. So it's very important that you remember it's 5,000 milligrams of sodium, not salt, sodium, which is about 12.5 milligrams of pink salt, if you're going to do it that way, per day, every day. Every day. Every single day. Don't miss a day, guys. And sometimes you'll need more. So my base level is that, and then if I'm feeling peckish, or if I'm feeling nauseous, or if I'm feeling dizzy, or if I'm feeling tired, I add more. There was a time where when I was really deep in the thick of it that I was taking 8 tablespoons of Sole a day. That's a lot. And I decreased my amount by adding dietary potassium. So the main way I added in is super boring. I found no salt, which is I think potassium chloride, and I put 4 grams in a cup, and I put a little water in it, and I squirt some Mio and I drink, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I used to do that all the time before I found Perfect Keto Electrolytes. And what's really funny is that people always ask me about electrolyte supplements, and I'm always like, oh, there's not enough sodium in that. Oh, there's not enough sodium in that, because there's not usually enough sodium in that. Even in the Perfect Keto one, the ratio is definitely higher potassium to sodium. So you can't use it for your sole purpose of getting your electrolytes in. But it is a tasty way to get your potassium in, which is vital. And I'm going to show you like how I make a little concoction of this a little later using the Perfect Keto Electrolytes. You need to take that sodium number and subtract it from the amount that you need for the day, and then make sure you're getting that in other ways. So what you can do is just make yourself a big, huge glass of water, add in the amount of potassium that you need using the Perfect Keto Electrolytes, and then add in the sodium that you need using Sole water, and then just sip on it all day long and make sure you finish it by the end of the day. One word of caution: if you overdo it on sodium or potassium, your body will flush it like you are in The Exorcist. You will all of a sudden be vomiting or coming out the other side at the same time within 20 minutes of consumption. This does sometimes happen to people when they first start out, because they'll take a whole tablespoon of Sole water at once. Or I have actually seen people drink the whole jar. Please don't drink the whole jar. Guys, it's a tablespoon. You can measure it out with a syringe, and that's 15 mLs. So if you have like a medicine syringe, you just take out 15 mLs and squirt it into your thing. Or like me, I should have grabbed all my stuff. I don't have it, but it's really dirty, covered in salt. Or like me, I have a Go Stack container, which I've talked about in other videos, where I have a line that's marked for 1.5 tablespoons, and that's about what I take, or 2 tablespoons, whatever it is. And that's about what I take each time I take my sodium, and so I can keep track of how many I took a day. Magnesium is also very important. My favorite magnesium is magnesium glycinate, and I like to take it before bed. And the reason why is because glycinate tends to relax you. It will help you with sleep. So if you go on keto and you are low on sleep, that's because your electrolytes are low. It's just like everything else. Magnesium will help with, like if you're having restless legs, which also shouldn't happen if you make sure you keep your electrolytes up. And it will help with relaxing you at night. So you want to take between 300 and 700 milligrams of magnesium. Oh, and your potassium level, probably because you're going to get dietary potassium eating greens and meats, your potassium level probably doesn't need to be above, the optimal would be 4,700 milligrams total, including food, but you have to track everything and make sure. So I try and err on the side of caution, because you can overdose on potassium, though dietary potassium is very difficult to overdose on. You can, so be careful. Don't say I'm a doctor and I told you to take it, because I'm not. But I try and hit 2,000 to 3,500 milligrams myself. You can be the judge of what makes you feel the best. If you keep your sodium up, you probably won't dump your potassium, and so maybe you don't need to take as much. But the Perfect Keto Electrolytes also have magnesium in them too, so make sure you double check on the back of that product if you're going to be using it, to make sure that you aren't supplementing too much, especially at once, so you don't end up going the exorcist way, if you know what I'm saying. If you exorcise your Sole water, you're going to need more. So don't let this happen to you. If the first time you take it, you just feel like not so great 20 minutes later, cut back on the amount that you take. I've had people that had to start at a 1/4 teaspoon and work their way up. So it just depends. Some people are more sensitive to it than others. Obviously, you don't want to chase it with water or diet soda or something so it doesn't burn, because it does burn your stomach. It feels uncomfortable if you don't drink something like chase it with something. So great. That's all the talky part of the video, but let's just go over it really quickly. 5,000 milligrams of sodium per day, I'm just going to say 1,500 to 3,500 milligrams of supplemental potassium a day, without exceeding 4,700 milligrams dietary and supplemental potassium added together, which of course if you're tracking your food, from your Chronometer app or your Carb Manager app should tell you that. And 300 to 700 milligrams of magnesium. Try to avoid magnesium citrate, because it also causes diarrhea. Magnesium oxide, if it's the only thing in the product, because it's not super absorbable and you're kind of wasting your money on that. Look for a high grade malate, malate for energy, or oroweight. I can't remember what oroweight does, but oroweight is a good one, and glycinate for relaxing you. Look for one of those to take as a supplement. And of course, don't forget to account for, if you're going to be taking like a perfect keto type of drink, that you account for the magnesium in that as well. And you should be golden. So that's all the talking part of this video. I am now going to go down and show you how I make my perfect keto juice for the day, my Ketorade. And thanks again to Perfect Keto for sponsoring this video. You will find the link to the electrolytes in the about section, as well as any kind of like sale deal or whatever like that they are offering along with this. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I know it's a promo, and so they probably have something going on. You'll find that all in the about section below. So come with me now down to my kitchen and we'll make some Ketorade. Alrighty guys, here we are in my kitchen, and I just was looking at this supplement. I think I totally read this wrong, and I've been using it wrong all along. So ignore some of the stuff that I said in the previous thing, because this Perfect Keto Daily Electrolytes actually has a lot more sodium than originally I thought. So I'm going to show you guys the back of this product. So as you can see, it has the potassium, like I said, the 600 milligrams, but it also has 2 different kinds of sodium I did not realize. So basically 600 potassium and 600 sodium and 250 magnesium. So technically, if you would take 10 servings of this a day, you would get enough sodium, but you would also get too much potassium. So you're going to want to add some sodium to make the sodium higher than the potassium, but I didn't realize it had that much sodium, so that's actually awesome. So if you're just going for a quick fix when you're feeling crappy, this actually wouldn't be a bad plan. But this is a really good flavor. This is the pink lemonade. I've also had the regular like lemon lime version, and they are both really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 1 serving of this, and I'm going to add in my sodium, because I like to take a lot of sodium at once, and I think that's probably going to be sufficient for me. This is my sodium container. It's embarrassing. Don't look at it. But in the top of this right here, I can fit 22 grams of Soleil water. So I'm going to make a little bit of a tasty drink. I normally take, let's see, I think I'm going to do 2 of these actually. So 2 of these would make 1,200 of each, 1,200 potassium, 1,200 sodium, so that's pretty good. And then I wouldn't need my magnesium for the day, even though it is magnesium citrate. So be careful. If you're going to be taking extra, that could cause stomach upset like we talked about earlier. So I'm going to use 2 of these. And then I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon of the Soleil water. That's going to be a lot of sodium for you guys, so just keep that in mind. But that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, so the serving size on this is 1 scoop, which is 6 grams. So I'm going to go ahead and measure that just to be on the safe side, so I know I'm getting how much I'm getting. You don't have to do that, but that's how I want to do it. So I'm just going to put a scoop. And it was only 5, so there you go. So I need 12 grams of this. Where are we at? 10, 11, 12. There we go. So then I'm going to add some water to that. Okay, I added 22 ounces of water. You do not have to add that much, but I'm stirring it up. Also, you can put it on ice. You could take less at a time. Me, I like to get my electrolytes in 1 fell swoop. That's just kind of me. Okay, so I got this all mixed up, and then I am going to tear that out and add in some Soleil water. Yum! Okay, so I need 15 milliliters of Soleil water. Ooh, this is scary. I'm spilling it. Dang it.
That's why you put the whole entire...
Oh my heck, it's just dumping off the bottom. Okay. Well, that was 12. I dumped the rest of it on the counter. Go me. Oh, wait. I did the same thing when I made the Soleil water in the Soleil water video. I dumped it everywhere, didn't I? Yeah. All right, I need 3 more. Dang it. I just wasted a whole bunch. Whoops. All right. So I got that in there. So now I know, because I put in 15 milliliters of Soleil water, that is about 1,400 milligrams of sodium, and this is 1,200 milligrams in addition. So it's a lot. So if you guys are just going to try the Perfect Keto electrolytes, you know, you could definitely just do this, but it's not enough sodium for the whole day. You're just going to have to be careful on your ratios with this stuff, but it tastes really good. So it's worth it for like one day to like make a yummy pink drink, because this is yummy. I should probably put ice, but let's see what it tastes like. Yummy. It's like, I almost think it tastes like fruit punch rather than pink lemonade. Salty fruit punch. So yeah, you can make yourself a big, huge thing like this and then just sip on it all day as you go about your day. Or you can just drink it all with lunch, like me. I'm starving. I haven't eaten yet today, and it's really late. So I'm going to say goodbye. Catch you guys on the other segment. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today. Alrighty guys, I hope that was helpful for you. If it wasn't, I have a ton of other videos on electrolytes. We can go over it a billion times. I haven't changed much other than my stand on dietary potassium. I used to say not to take any at all and get it all from food, and now I have just learned that it's just better for me to take potassium dietarily and supplementally. So that's the main thing that has changed in my recommendations, but still the other videos are beneficial, especially the one on how to make sole water. So I'm gonna go ahead and link the playlist probably at the end of this video in the end card so that you can watch all the videos I've ever made on electrolytes. And again, thank you so much for watching. Thanks Perfect Keto for sponsoring the video, and we'll talk to you all again soon.